Hello, good morning. On day 56, I have moved my position, as you can see. The house is full with children, and young ones. So I wanted to create a more quiet space. Hopefully, this works. Particularly because the internet is a little bit less strong here. So send me a message if it's not working. Okay. It's really interesting to feel how, when I switch places during these 99 days, the first time I sit in a new spot, I kind of always have to sink in with that new place. Like it's as if the energy of the group or the energy of this program is kind of directly opening up when the spot is available, and or is not available but is known to these sessions. So the spot I'm mostly recording from is the one that as soon as I sit there, I just completely sink in with that space. And when I was traveling or when I sit downstairs at the kitchen table, it feels at first somehow different. Fascinating always this how energy, vibrations, frequencies are so directly related and still so unknown to us. I mean, something we don't work with naturally, but there's so much information there in the field. And I can only say that I notice it. So that must be a confirmation to me it's in the field. Anyway, that was not the subject for today. The subject for today is money. And I'm particularly saying it like this, money, because there's so much around money, so much. And this is a topic that I've been involved with for at least 3 years, from very different perspectives, from different belief systems, from different approaches. And I haven't, perhaps I haven't gotten to the final thing of it, the final trick. But it has become more clear and clear what is working and what's not working, what's actually underneath money. And why is it working and flowing in some ways, and why is it not working and flowing in other ways? And because there's so much to share, I hope I'll make this story, that this story, this sharing today makes sense. It's just a story again. Like I always say, money is just a belief system. So for that reason, it's just a story. It's a belief system because we put value. And we agreed as societies, as an economic system, to put value to what money is worth and is not worth. And that also is directly translated in your own worthiness. And that's a tricky one, of course. So, and a sensitive one as well. So I'm afraid I might step on some toes here again. But try to stay open and just sense into why it is a theme for you or it's not a theme for you. And of course, if it's less a theme for you, you might not get triggered here, but you might have been unaware why it was not a theme for you, and now you became more aware of it and perhaps can help other people. And in their ways when they feel stuck with money. So money is a belief system for ages. And before that, we had, long time back, We had bartering. We just exchanged the value of the quality of one person. We exchanged that for the value of the quality of another person. And that exchange of work or knowledge or whatever it was just enough. And then money came into play, because it was more easier to work with people at a bigger scale, small at first, obviously. But soon it became bigger, because money just creates that possibility. And then immediately, and like I shared with the human evolution and our individual focus, and the fact that we feel separated from each other, money is the best and most easy way to emphasize that individual and separated approach. It directly reflects that we feel separated from each other. And then the power comes into play, the power and control over others, because that makes my life better at the cost of others. Not directly at the cost of others, but indirectly it is. So I decide how much you can earn, or how much this costs, or how much you have to pay for something, or how much you get from a government, or whatever it is we're controlling here. So in essence, it's power and control. And with power and control, we as individuals in these societies are directly confronted with our lack beliefs, because that's how it's actually working. So in generic terms, there is an unworthiness around money which needs to be looked at. That's, to me, where it comes down to. And it's not unworthiness in general. You can have unworthiness at other areas in life. But for some people, they have it very strongly around money. And for other people, they have it in other topics. But when money is a topic for you in your life, then in the end, it's unworthiness. And the reason why I'm saying this is because so unworthiness in the sense that you don't feel that you are worthy of earning a lot of money, or that you not feel that you're worthy of having a lot of money, that you don't feel you're worthy of being as rich as others, and because you often compare yourself with others, and you wish and desire and want more of it. And like I stated before, wish, desire, wanting is all coming from a lack belief. So what's the lack belief underneath this? And there are fears underneath it, and there is shame, and there is sometimes guilt underneath it. If money is a strong topic in your family system, there might be guilt in it as well. And there's a lot of envy around money. Like they have more, and it comes so easy to them, and it doesn't come easy to me. And then we have our education system, where we already define, and it's of course a result of our industrialization period, where making money and wealth, which is directly related, was actually scaling people or putting people in boxes, like you have a low education, so therefore you earn less money because you work just with your hands in the factory, you contribute to a system, a machine actually, that produces a lot of money, and we as a boss decide how much you earn. And when you have a lower education, you're at the lowest bottom of the hierarchy, so you earn less. And when you have a higher education, you earn more, because then you can become a manager or a team leader or whatever. And if you're the highest one, you get the most. That's how it works in our society today. And it's still strongly reflected, especially in the Dutch school system, where we literally say it's a lower education. And we don't value the fact that people with a lower education who become hairstylists or who work in electronic or work with their hands around, I don't know the English word for that. Well, you know what I mean. People who work in construction and who are specialized in systems around electricity or plumbing. That's the word I was looking for. So then they automatically are less valued by our society. So we decided together that working in those areas, you earn less. It's just as a whole valued as as less. We put a price to it, and we agree with that price. And as long as we agree with all those prices, we keep that system in place. And so we actually lost the fact that we actually value things for what it's really worth in our life. So basically, you should actually have a very flexible pricing system. Like for me, buying a product can be very valuable, and that same product can be for another person not so valuable at all, and then you might want to pay less. But if it's really important for me, I want to pay more for it because I really desire to have that in my life and to buy it. And then you might say that, of course, the marketing and economics work that way. That's how the system is balanced. If all people value something, they buy lots of it, and then you can earn money with it. So it's a very complex system, and it's not so interesting to unravel how the system works. To me, I came to a point where I just say, well, money is just what we need here. It's a means to an end. And there's lots of money in the world. There's abundance of money. We even fake it because we just print more money, and then we have more money. It's just one big bubble. Now we have the Bitcoin, which is even more like an untouchable system. But the Bitcoin is worth money. It's value. You can buy things with it. You can change it into a currency. So it's really tangible value. So in this paradigm where we're living in right now, with this frequency we're living in right now, where people are still, the core of our system still is based on separation and not on unity. We still have to fully embrace the fact that money is a means to an end. It's like breathing air because this body needs to live. It needs air to live. Without air, my body will die. And that's the same with money in this system. So any resistance you have towards money in general will show up in your face, and there will be a lack of it. So being fully embracing and open and surrender, even if you have to, because you have a lot of resistance, but really love money, really with your heart, really love it, because you like, I love to breathe, because I love to feel alive. I like to feel energized. And that's the same with money. Just fully embrace it. And the reason why I came to this position towards, or this perspective too much towards money, is because I've been involved with, and still am with groups of people who are moving to our new paradigm where they want to have the basis of unity. And lots of people are living from a fully connected space with all and any, so they don't see and don't experience separation anymore. But in that new paradigm, obviously the topic around money is a hot topic, because if you are feeling fully one with everyone, you can't really accept the fact that money is still kept by the rich and powerful ones, and they control our society, they control our world. So they want to change that belief system around money, and they want to make it more equal and abundant and accessible, not abundant, but accessible to all, because there is enough. It's said that 5% of the richest people can solve any money problem in the world, like poverty and the fact that people live in really poor conditions can be solved by only 1 or 5% of the richest people. So there is enough for everyone. That's a fact. But we don't want to share it like that right now because we are coming from a separation thinking. So I still want to feel better by having more money than other person. I don't want to share it openly because then I might have not enough for myself. Or I want to enjoy spending my money for myself, and I want to invite people who I know and who I love and who I care for to share it with me. But I don't feel responsible for solving the world problems with my money. And that's understandable from where we are now. That's completely understandable because we are living in the separation world. And living in the separation world and feeling completely connected to all. So if you are this being who's been on this, well, most of the time, spiritual path, and you feel so connected to all, you cannot accept that old belief system. And so the people I was working with who wanted to change that system, they have developed beautiful new systems around it, how this is working differently, and how we can deal differently with the quality of what you bring as a person, so what you give, and how you can receive. And then you can receive as much as you like, as long as you think that you need that for your life. And if you're honest and open about that, then it might still be unequally divided, but that's okay because not everybody has the same needs around living a life abundantly. But the tricky thing is with all those people I met, these groups of people I met living in this new paradigm and moving towards this new paradigm, they're all lacking money. They're all lacking, or I should rephrase this, they're all lacking the means to create this new paradigm. And because to me, they're doing it because they're doing it still in the old paradigm system. So as long as we are on this earth and the majority of people is in this old paradigm, the one we're currently in, also called the 3D paradigm, as long as we're in this system together and the actual actions are taking place in this system, we need to embrace money. Then there should not be any resistance. And the people who are in this new paradigm, they call it the 5D paradigm, where the basis is unity and equality in the sense of like there's no judgment towards each other. We all see each other as equals in the sense that we all wish the best for each other, and it's purely unconditional, and it's coming from love, and it's coming from purely see each other as mirrors. So if I think that you deserve the best, I also deserve the best for myself. It's completely in different, in the higher frequencies. Everything around higher frequency is, there's no lack belief there. It's all there. It's abundantly there. But while going through the process, those groups, they had let go of all their beliefs around money. At least that's what they are sharing that they're doing. And then they expect the people with a lot of money to support them. So they accept philanthropical gifting from people who have hundreds of millions of it to support their program, to support their development, to support their creation. So they can move everyone, to create a new system so that everyone in this world can benefit from how they look can benefit from their vision and their creation. And then the old money system with control and power will dissolve and will be taken over by the new system. And in itself, it's a beautiful idea. But they're stuck with the fact that the philanthropical helpers are not completely open to their approach yet. So there's still a tension around what they are sharing and how they're sharing to what they're getting. So they come by for years now with enough just to live on, but they have to beg for money every now and then, or are supported by someone monthly, if they're lucky. And that's how actually they approach building this new way of working. And as I've been involved so deeply with these groups, but what I always felt like, but something is not right here. There's something, you are resisting the system in where you're still acting and trying to build it. You're still building it in this reality. You're building it with people now with a frequency that's still in this separation thinking and separation feeling. So there's still like a lack belief, and there's still a resistance towards money. And if there's a resistance to something, it's not flowing. That's how energy works. Anything you resist doesn't flow. So if you resist money, it doesn't flow. And why do you resist it? What is the lack belief underneath it? And that's something for each and every individual to look at personally. And if you look at the people who became successful and because of their success also rich, or they have a lot of money, these people are often envied for having so much. But most of them, not the one with old money in the family, but most of them who created their own success, created it by being fully passionate about what they wanted to create and be fully driven to create that. Especially the entrepreneurs who are successful, they had a goal, they had a vision, they wanted to create something for the benefit of others. Whether it was a very commercial thing or not, it doesn't really matter, because people just needed that and still need it. So they became successful with it. And it's so interesting where often people envy those people that become rich. And then they say, well, they have a lot of power over the people who worked for them. And that's true. So there's still a lot of friction there. But staying in resistance, like they have more and they have power over me, is putting the power outside of yourself. And then you can say, well, I don't have the ability to do the same as they do. Well, nowadays, it's no longer true anymore. Anyone, despite your education, anyone can set up a business online and become successful. But it needs endurance, it needs focus, it needs, or even offline, and create a business. But you have to be passionate about it. It's not so much about the education or your level of, it's not about your diplomas you had. It's not about the papers you had. It's about how you believe in yourself. If you can pull that off, and if you don't fully believe in some of the qualities you need to make this business, then find someone who has these qualities and then do it together. But don't go back into this victim role, because in the victim role, money will always be lacking, always. And of course, there are people also who are just okay with having less. I have 3 different children in their perspective towards money. They had all had the same background from their parents, from us. And one daughter has nothing with money, has nothing with material stuff. And the other son is completely focused and driven to become very successful. It's really interesting. So it's not just your direct surroundings who influence your belief system around money and the lack around it, or the need for it, or the fact that you don't really want to have it. because it's just not of any interest to you. It's deeper into your, well, perhaps in your blueprint, what your theme is around money. But if you want to change something around money, if there is something like, I wish I had more, or I wish I won the lottery, or for you, money is like, oh, it's a way to freedom, then you're putting the power outside of yourself. Then it's not going to work. It will never be. You won't get money that way. The moment I made a lot of money in my life was when I just was completely convinced that that was the right decision to do, to take action or to make an investment, especially because it was very related to buying and renovating houses. I made most of my money with that, simply because I could completely relate to buying something, feeling one with it, like, oh, this is the best thing to do, without any logic there, because it was always an extreme, ridiculous investment. But I just trusted my intuition. It was the right thing to do, and it never turned against me. So that what feels very good to you and very aligned with you, that's where you're very confident in, but confident like a deep, deep trust within you. That's where you make most of your money. But if there's always a voice coming up like, I don't deserve it, or I don't have enough, or I can't make it because I don't have the qualities, then look at what you're actually saying to yourself. There's an unworthiness within you that you're not worth of making money. And then there's probably a lack belief in the qualities you have. And I'm not saying that everybody should become rich tomorrow. It's not relevant, and rich is even a, a saying that is completely different to each and every one of us. What is rich? What is wealth? That depends on what you want and what you need. For me now, traveling a lot, the wealth is to be able to travel and to be able to do what I want. That's wealth. And in the past, it had to do with things. Now I'm not buying things anymore. It becomes very irrelevant. I buy clothes sometimes because, well, it's nice to have something new, and then I really love it. But most of the time I can't be bothered anymore. And I used to do it a lot, but it's not my feeling of wealth anymore. My feeling of wealth now comes from experiencing and sharing time with my partner. That's where really wealth is, and doing the things like I'm doing now with you. Even not earning a dime with this program, it's pure wealth to me. And I know, because it's pure wealth to me, because I love and doing this so much, I know it, in due time it will be reflected back in money, not because I need it or want it so desperately, like I have to become rich with it. It's the other way around. I want to do it in this way because it feels good to me, and I have this passion about waking up people, and I find a way to do it. And that's what excites me. And then I know the result, it's a means to an end. I know that or not a means to an end, it's a result of what I'm doing. And then the money will come back. But if I know people who are so focused on becoming rich, just pure for the result of becoming rich, then richness is the goal, and nothing is working. So they're trying hard, but not because they're doing things that they're good at, and they're doing things that they are even passionate about. But they're not passionate about helping other people with their problem. They're passionate about becoming rich. And becoming rich is not a goal in itself. It's a result. It's a very subtle difference. But you have to turn it around. Well, at least that's my take on it. So, and for some people who are in jobs and are stuck in the system where the salary is defined by the bosses or by the government or whatever job you're in, then you feel stuck. Then you feel like, well, I love my job, but I'm dependent on what people are paying for me. But in that sentence, you put the power outside of yourself. So either you're okay with it and just completely love it and okay with it, the fact that you have less money, or you change your skills and or you put your skills in other means or in other ways to create more money. If that's what really what you want in the end, you have to start first with whether you really want to share on a bigger scale, because we're still working in this economic system. We're still working with the fact that if people like a product, you can earn more money with it. You can't just earn money out of nothing. You can't just earn money because someone gives it to you. Well, you can if you're lucky, if you win the lottery, but apparently, and even people who win lottery haven't become happy. So if your happiness is depending on the fact you're rich or not, then again, that's related to each other. Happiness should come from the fact that you can completely share yourself with the world and with the people you want to share it with to help them. And there's, of course, it's not important for everyone to have a lot of money. And a lot is still like a relative thing. But what is it actually you want with money? And I have a questionnaire somewhere. I received it once. I never really used it because money is not a theme for me. But I can find a questionnaire and I'll share it with you if it feels relevant. That is asking you questions about your belief system around money and where you feel stuck, if you're interested in finding out. So I might want to share that later if I can find it. So I just want to make very clear, it's not this talk about money, the sharing about money is not about the fact that it should be important for everyone. It's only relevant for those of you who are feeling resistance or feeling a lack in money. And when you have that theme within you, when you wish you want to earn more, when you wish you have more money, when something like that is somewhere in your system, then it's worth looking at it differently. If money is irrelevant for you and you're happy with where you are now, and what you have is enough for you, it's just simply irrelevant, like it is for my daughter. She just wants to eat and live and have some fun, and that's enough for her, and travel every now and then, but that's enough. She doesn't need big villas or luxury environments or whatever. She just doesn't care. She doesn't even care for stuff. As long as it's functional, then she cares, but not to have more of it. So if it's not something you're lacking of, then skip this session and just be happy with how you are. But if there's a lack belief underneath it, in whatever shape or form I'm just sharing with you, then look at it differently. Look where you put the power outside of yourself. And try to unravel what's underneath this. And if you're not able to work at all, then of course it's more difficult to, you can really have a lack belief around money. But still then my question would still be like, how does the whole bigger picture look like? It's never one thing. It's always a holistic view. upon every aspect in your life. You can't take one thing separately and just be frustrated about that and don't look at the other aspects in your life that influence each other. So you have to look at all the things in life to see where you're disbalanced. And where the disbalance shows up doesn't mean that that's where the cause of the problem is. It might be in other areas where you don't feel disbalanced, but there might be a lack belief underneath there that still holds you back. Or pain underneath there, like a trauma, that holds you back. But even pain and trauma eventually created a lack belief. So I hope this helps a little. I would really appreciate more questions on this because I feel I haven't touched upon all the different aspects yet because it's such a complex topic. And I'm very engaged in this topic because I've seen it from many different perspectives. And so the new paradigm, the old paradigm, the lack, the abundance, I've actually seen it all and also have had it all. Also the lack of it. I've also had times where I just did not have anything and I was taking risky choices where everybody would say to me like, really, are you sure? But I never had any distrust in this. It's for me, it's just not a theme that comes up in a lack belief. But luckily, I have other themes that come up in a lack belief. So we all have our themes in life. Okay, that's it for now, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Bye.